Hi everyone, welcome to HomePatch. This is our place that we're opening for the first time for Sustainable House Day in 2021. I just want to give a bit of an overview of our house and what we're about, and hopefully you might come and visit us on the day. First, I do want to acknowledge all of the traditional custodians of the land all over Australia where Sustainable House Day is happening, and in particular to the Wurundjeri elders past and present and emerging. The Wurundjeri are the traditional owners of the land that HomePatch is on. There are three main things that have influenced the way our house has been developed. One is that we have always been very community involved, and we've run a small local business which has made us busy and very community rich, but fairly low in money. So low in money has been one of the factors. Another thing is that we have a really strong permaculture ethic around reusing and, retrofitting what you have rather than buying new. So that's been part of it. And also we intend to stay here as long as we possibly can. So all of the upgrades have been done pretty much with us in mind. We're not looking at future sale value. We've just been doing things to make the house work as well as possible for us. So come visit us if you want to see how we've gone about this, not just in terms of home building shell energy efficiency, but also appliances, also the garden, the way we cook and make our own food and beverages, and the systems that we've set up. There is a timeline of our home and energy efficiency journey here. I won't go into it in too much detail. We've pretty much been here since before we had kids, and that's the last 18 years. It's been a gradual process of improving things over time, and has also involved me becoming an energy assessor, and that's, I guess that's been the foundation of a lot of things too. It's just my really big interest now. Draft proofing is the first port of call really for making any home more efficient, an older home I should say. Most newer homes are made fairly draft proof, but older homes are usually very drafty. And these are some of the common things you might see. One is a permanently open louver window, and you can see we've put a double glazing type setup there with two pieces of acrylic, and installed a fan into the window cavity as well, rather than replacing the entire window and adding a ceiling fan. There's things like skylights. They can be very drafty, and ours was completely open pretty much. So we've figured out a way to seal that as well. Things like wall vents, ceiling vents, they can all be completely closed up. And I can explain on the day how to go about that. The ceiling insulation is after you've looked at all the drafts in the house, which includes more than what I've just shown, but those were a few of the key ones. Ceiling insulation is then the next place you would be looking at. And the current minimum is about R4.4 in Victoria, but we've gone to R6, and we do also have an extension room that has a flat metal roof. That one we could not get it in except for pumping it in through the ceiling plaster, so we've done that to R4, and that made a really big difference. It had no insulation whatsoever before that. After drafts and ceiling insulation, window upgrades are a good next port of call, and the simplest thing is often just getting much better window coverings for the windows you have. Heavy line drapes are really efficient, and you can see here we've got those coupled with invisible pelmets made out of pieces of clear acrylic that have been attached to the top of the window frame. There are lots of options for window glazing upgrades. The most expensive and simplest, I suppose, is just replacing the entire windows with double glazed units. But for us, that was not really financially a viable option. So we've done a range of other things, including buying second-hand double glazed glass, just the glass, not the frames, and installing it inside our own existing timber frames. We've also got secondary glazing made from clear acrylic sheets. And we also have some Clear Comfort, which is a film that you apply to windows. That's shown on the second slide. The Clear Comfort, you can see on the bottom, It's been there for more than 10 years actually, which is why you can see that the double-sided tape has gone yellow. If you were applying it new, it wouldn't have that, it would be clear. But this is just to show that it can actually last a really long time. It doesn't always, but it can. Underfloor insulation was what we looked at next, and this has been applied by us. For our house, this was an important factor because we're on a hill on stilts and an open underfloor. So we previously had nothing between us and outside except for some floorboards. So this has made a difference to our comfort. We also had pumping wall insulation put in. This is not something we could do ourselves, but it has been very worthwhile. It has been blown into both the weatherboard and the brick veneer sections of the house. And I can point out on the day, if you come to visit us, where the little holes are that you can see where they've drilled through the mortar and or into the weatherboards. Heating and cooling, when we first moved here, we had just terrible unflued gas space heater. Actually, it was a freezing house, and we also had one of those really ancient box air conditioners. So it did take us quite a few years to be able to afford to replace them, but the day we did, we just couldn't believe how amazing it was to have really efficient air conditioning. It's silent, it's comfortable, it just does such a good job, and we're so pleased. We also do take into account other aspects of staying warm or cool, not just, appliances, but things like the heated seat pad, which you can see on the left that I use on my office chair. That sometimes means I don't need to put on heating at all in winter, so it keeps my body warm. And things like deciduous vines. I've got a picture there of the ornamental grape that shelters us from north sun in summer and then lets all the sun through in winter when the leaves fall off. We have solar hot water, and you can see the evacuated tubes on the roof there, and also some of our solar panels. We do have more than that. They're on the back flat area of the roof. And I've also put in a picture there of our solar generation, showing what we're generating, what part of that we're consuming and what part we're exporting. This is a work in progress for us. We need to get much better at using the energy while we're generating it. It is a bit tricky with teenagers and people out at work and stuff, but we will get there. We'll improve that. And apart from the home building shell and appliances, we've also just made the house really functional for us. We gained ourselves a bit of space by filling in the front porch and enclosing it with the cafe blinds that zip up as well. And that's now a favourite spot for everyone to sit. It's a north-facing space, and the kids love sitting there with their friends, hanging out. You can go there in summer or winter because it's enclosed. We do a lot of preserving, dehydrating, making beer, wine, cider, that sort of thing. We used to do it inside, and it would get, everything would get completely messy. We recently had the back porch put a proper shelter over it, just a top cover, and turned it into an outside cooking area, which we use all the time now for making our own food and drinks, a range of stuff. Inside, we have lots of systems set up to help us be more sustainable in general, which includes having racks to dry bottles and Ziploc bags and all of our silicone baking tray liners and things like that, as well as a setup to help us collect all the little bits of foil and metal that we want to recycle. So we can show you those sort of things as well. We have a really productive garden with several kinds of ways to process organic wastes, including chickens, compost bays, regular compost bins, and weed tea bins where we drown the noxious weeds and then we can safely add them to the compost without spreading them. Here's just a little bit more showing our productive garden. We do get food out of it all year round, and it's a big part of how we love to live, and also the way that I love to spend time just relaxing. So we do hope you come in and join us for Sustainable House Day, and we will see you then.